They labeled that thing shooting through space 3I, not 31 Atlas, 3I Atlas. I wasn't paying that close of attention. This is a big rock. I understand it's a big rock in space. What are you going to do about it? You have no idea it's happening. You're sitting in your living room and a bus is coming through the front door. If you're agile, maybe you can get the hell out the way. Okay. The reason why it means a lot to a lot of people that can clone or put their brain on a robot is if it hits, it could screw up their plans to clone or put their brain on a robot. If you get hit by a bus, they could give a fuck less. Okay? How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We got have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop the time. Okay? When you have faith in the glory of God, the essence of glory that provides life to your body, okay, will be beautiful no matter what it does. Okay? If it's part of the Aurora Borealis or whatever it's doing, right? Okay. In order for us to continue to have a life of sacrifice, we have to make sure we obey laws, understand laws, and adhere to those laws to the best of our ability. Okay. There's no such thing as human law enforcement. When people are murdering each other with guns over philanthropy, that's your sin. That's a crime you're committing by not standing up for the living Messiah in New Mexico and standing up for Lord's Prayer worldwide. You can talk all you want on television about law enforcement and public service, okay? But you're not doing anything of service to life and the living if you are engaged in conflict over money, which leads to murder over money. I'm way more intelligent than you. I'm more intelligent than people who win Nobel Prizes. I was watching some of Cold Turkey with Bob Newhart and Dick Van Dyke. He goes, you do get it's funny. It's very sarcastic. I'm like, I grew up in this generation. You know that, right? And then you're watching it, which this is $25 million. Money is not real. It's how idiots are manipulated by assholes. Oh. Like women that use sex to get men in competition to feel powerful, to have them, compete over sexual access to her. What a bitch. I know. Here, keep my pig as, marry Igor and keep my pig as wedding present. Right? Like I used to tell Amy, when they told me about the thing about Lot and what happened with him. And I said, no, you can't seduce a man. He either wants to have a sexual relationship or he doesn't. And usually with a man like me and a lot, it's because it's necessary. This is your woman. You are a religious person. You love women. And the woman sits there and says, I've looked around and there's nobody else like you. It happened with Joe Smith and with Brigham Young. Oh, most people, they see the people that do the Mormon church, they can't explain it. They won't talk about it. It's too taboo to talk about in public. If you explain it intelligently like me, because I talked to Joseph Smith and I talked to Brigham Young and I talked to Malachi and stuff. Malachi is one of my favorites to talk to, but it was Malachi's like Little Hawk, okay? Me and Little Hawk have had a lot of conversations throughout life. He was assassinated by treacherous people when he was 17. Okay, but they didn't have Xbox, and they didn't have Pluto TV, and they didn't have Tubi, and they didn't have NBC, CBS, ABC, CBC, TBS, TBC, 123, C-SPAN 2, Forta 2, NASA Channel 2, Bloomberg Network. They didn't have any of that distracted bullshit. He was living. That man walked. Okay. From a fort near Casper, Wyoming, okay. Or no, it's Fort Laramie. Oh my gosh, that's a long walk. From Fort Laramie, okay, to the Big Grease Coop where I used to work at Three Springs. Followed a Cheyenne woman when he was 13 that was 4 years older than him. Yeah, that he was in love with. Her family, yeah. They didn't let him. They left him without a horse. They were shitty to him. It's like 12 or 13. And they were shitty to him because he was a half-breed and all that. And a lot of the people were shitty and left him there. And you make your own way. And they did. So he walked. That kind of shit happened to him and Crazy Horse quite frequently. No, they didn't. Mary Sanders' book doesn't tell you about that. No, they don't tell you about their own bigotry. They tell you about other people's bigotry. You found people ain't really down with it when they give them we give them the lowdown on themselves. These horrible things, like the Koreans used to do with half-white babies and stuff. When you see that on MASH, just horrible, horrible things. Spotted Tail was an amazing, exceptional man, but Spotted Tail was going in another direction because he was offended by the way they treated him, and Little Hawk was determined to follow her. He was a man. His Spotted Tail raised him. He was 13. He could walk all the way from Fort Laramie to Big Goose Creek. Yeah. Yeah, he could do it. He'd survive. He'd show up with 2 horses, an elk. That's why the woman that he loved, her father was like, no, that. Everybody was big. He didn't try to be a big, but he had to follow the rest of the tribe and do the thing because he didn't want to put his family at risk and stuff. And they needed the security of the tribe. And Little Hawk didn't want him to put him at risk, So Little Hawk said, "I'll be up there." He goes, "I know, and you won't come in empty-handed. I know, you never do. You love my daughter, and you treat her better than any. You're the best man that I know, and you treat her better than any of these hypocrites. Why do you think High Hump and He Dog loved Little Hawk and Crazy Sorrow so much? Hooah! 2 of the best men in the history of the United States. Yeah, by the time he was 13." Yeah, he was an exceptional man that reflected amazing grace in a beautiful way. Absolutely wonderful young man. Wonderful man. Yeah, he was assassinated at 17 years old, shortly after High Hump was murdered. You can feel the pain from He Dog. He Dog doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't like to talk about it at all because He Dog was the only one that lived. His other 3 friends, the 4 directions, the other 3 were all assassinated. Me and He Dog don't talk too much. I just feel his pain. Yeah, he's a good man. But it's hard when you have, you're 4 really good men and they assassinate the other 3 and you're left alone. And it's after they've mass murdered and betrayed and destroyed most of your people off the face of the planet. It's just, God dang. Yeah. It's hard. I love He Dog. That's sad. The ones left to linger. He Dog's thing is, sometimes I think they were more fortunate than me. I was left to miss them and be tortured and brutalized by cowards. And they died men, but I'm not allowed to take my own life. I'm only allowed to use my life to protect those that are abused by those that would abuse. And it was lonely and it was hard. And it was, he's a good man. He Dog. He got his name because he was good at training the dogs. And boiled pup for breakfast. Yeah, a lot of people listen. No, if one gave away your position, was loud, and couldn't be trained properly to be quiet and keep your position and be a good guy, you ate it. Cheyenne and Oglala and Lakota, yes. And Papa too, yeah. He Dog. He was the trainer of he tried to hide me when I was a kid. Remember me with Fat Pedro? You can't eat the tomatoes and the strawberries. Dad will get rid of you. I was the same way when I was a little boy. No, you got to be like this. I was always that way with the dogs. No, you got to do that, or Dad, And so I was always been, and I was that way with Zeke a lot of times too. It's not so much training. You teach, you understand your dogs. Like with me, I had learned my mistakes with Zeke. When I fed him meat late at night, he stayed up all night, trying to earn more meat, protecting me. I was mad at him. I said, "You stupid son of a bitch. No, if you're going to give him meat, thanks, dog. Give him meat in the middle of the day." Then he'll be up all day. Hey, he gave me meat. And then he'll fall asleep with you. And then if there's a noise, he'll wake up and let you know. But if you give him meat late at night, then he's going to try to earn more because he's a dog. He thinks like a dog. He doesn't think like a man. So you got to understand how a dog thinks, and then you have to react accordingly. And so you've got to understand his what he wants, how he wants it, what's his commitment with you, his submission to you because you're alpha and that kind of thing. And so you got to give the dog opportunity to do right and be a good dog. And they ate dog. Yes. Apaches ate dog too. Remember that one dog in Santa Fe, the little Chihuahua? He used to go in the backyard and he'd harass me all the time. So finally, one day I sat and I had a talk with him, and I said, the Spanish bred you to be an alarm dog. So they'd let no people come in. And I said, and you make lots of noise and warn when someone's coming. I said, the Apaches ate you for the same reason. That dog went inside, never came back out when I was in that yard for the next 3 months. Because I think that dog went, I wonder if that guy's part Apache. I am. Okay. In spirit, yes. But I told him, and he got quiet. He went back in the house. He never went out and harassed me when I was in the backyard ever again. That was one smart dog. Don't tell me Chihuahuas are dumb, because they're not. No, Amigo. I had an Amigo. Remember Gabe Rocha? It's Amigo. It's Ralph's here. It's Amigo's doing it. I used to not like Chihuahuas till Amigo. He was the best. And then there was that one that was on Alameda. He was so funny. He sat there and he'd look at, you're watching me, aren't you? Yeah. Hey, man, you made me look bad. I'm sitting here being cool, listening to my guru, and then you gonna make me jump like a chicken scream. Yeah. It was funny. No, he made me laugh. I was like, you little turkey, you got me again. And then every time I should have just been nice and let him, I was, once the gig's up, he'd just sit there and he'd look, you're watching me. Yeah, I'm watching you. Hi. Chihuahuas are cool. No, they're fun. No, I don't want one, but I can understand them better. If I ever get another dog, God, I'd like him to be a mix. Like Zeke. Zeke was an Australian German mix and stuff. He was. I like mutts. They have a certain je ne sais quoi about them. He's a tramp. I like mutts. I've had better luck with mixed breeds than with purebreds. Yeah, so they're a little bit easier for me to work with. Maybe it's because I'm a mutt. I don't know. Or like spirits or something. But guys, hang in there and don't let that that 3-eye atlas thing that they're doing, stuff like that. Be more concerned about doing things right here, right now, and understand the enforcement of natural laws and obeying natural laws, and then sharing the beauty of the understanding of those natural laws. You got to understand, you are being more studied and more monitored by your own technology than you would be from if that was an alien ship going by. Do you understand? You're being more scrutinized and seen as more of a threat to your own existence by your own quantum computing than you would be by an alien race of big butthead brain things from your imagination from Star Trek. It's like talking to a bunch of egomaniacs that wouldn't listen if they tried. Okay, so it's hard. It's very difficult. I'm in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I was born here. There's a book called The Bible has a story called Revelation that they don't understand, because like what Elijah Muhammad said to Malcolm X, the prophets predict the future. Muhammad told me that too. He goes, you can't, quote, be a prophet. You're the fulfillment of prophecy. Anything that you say can and will happen, they'll manipulate it to make it look like they were the prophet. So they're manipulators. In ancient times, people Muhammad fulfilled prophecy. I fulfilled prophecy. Haile Selassie fulfilled prophecy. Jesus fulfilled prophecy. Lots of people fulfill prophecy. Elijah Muhammad wanted to be prophecy, but he wasn't. No, it was a pale rider to the north. His mom was, is Germanic. He looks like the Romans. Okay, he looks a lot like one of the Romans. So I look like a Roman person. Well, people used to tell me I look like Al Pacino. You're gonna have to. If you make me mad, you know what's gonna happen? Nothing, because I'm just gonna sit there and let the technology take care of it. Because I need to get my sleep. Because I need my beauty rest. Because I'm a gorgeous person there. And I have been, dear Miss Lopez, I have been using my facial scrub once or twice a day to help exfoliate my skin so it's healthier. You're such a dork. I do like her in a lot of ways. Other ways, I think we drive each other crazy, but I think we could still be friends. I like Amy Winehouse too. Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out, man.